Backyard Conversations, episode 9. How you doing, Mr. Davis?
I'm doing all right. I'm back again.
We're back to the mic, as always, a recording right here. It's your boy, G, here with Timmy Davis. And I think we should just hop right into it. This episode, what do you think?
Yeah, let's jump into it, man. I don't mind.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's talk about the Euros, right? Because I know I followed the Euros closely, and I don't know if you did as well, but you saw how it turned out in the end, right? England against Italy.
Yeah, I followed it closely, and I can't say that I was expecting anything different as to the aftermath of what went on there.
You're talking about the results and what happened with like Jadon, Sancho, Bukayo, Saka, and Marcus Rashford, yes?
Yes, all of that.
I think that was easy to see because we saw it coming. We literally saw the finals together, and we were like, if this boys miss, something terrible is going to happen to them online.
Exactly. It was just like a thing where I saw them, okay, if they lose, that's fine or whatever if they lose, but let it not just be like a mistake from one of the black players, right? That's all I was hoping for, because I knew that if anything where you could point a finger at the black player and be like, it's their fault, then I know that racist abuse is coming for sure.
Yeah, it was expected. There's nothing new about it. I was prepared to see it happen mainstream, and I feel like we make a lot of excuses for social media companies talking about how difficult it will be to like curtail this kind of thing, but something has to change. Like the way people are able to hide behind their keyboards and spout racist abuse at people, professionals who try their best to manage so much pressure under all this like flashing lights and whatnot. Social media companies need to come together and think about how they manage trolling and racist abuse online.
I'm not sure if they care too much, to be honest, because if they did, like, they do have the technology. They can flag several comments or keywords or whatever on their platforms. I'm not sure why they're not doing more. Boris Johnson has come out the other day to give an ultimatum, basically telling them, they're going to have to do something about this, or, face fines up to, I think, about 10% of their global revenues, right? So, right. Looking forward to seeing what they do about that. Like, technology is there. The way they flag, any conversation about COVID, you don't even need to say COVID in your comments. Just say vaccine or something related, and it gets flagged right away for information on COVID. So why can they not do it for this virus,
right?
That's been around for centuries now, right? COVID's only been around for a couple of years. The virus of hate and racism has been around for millennia. So why can they not do something about it?
Yeah, and just talk about what you said, about the technology. I've seen posts or like Instagram stories where there's basically just a photo with the text COVID inside it, or an Instagram post. So whatever is reading this data and capturing that, text from a photo is smart enough to be able to help with clamping down on racism.
Exactly. It's just not a priority for them. Like, if it was, they would have fixed it already, right? The way COVID became a priority for everyone and came to the forefront. But it's just too sad to see that, it's still 2021 right now and people are still doing this nonsense. Like, if losing or missing a penalty has anything to do with your race, like, it's just completely stupid. Like, these people have done so well for the country. Bukayo is a young man from Ealing. That one hurt me even a bit more because, like, he used to play. So my younger cousin, actually, they played in the same team starting up, like the Celtics, out there in West London. And, he was born in Ealing. So was my cousin. Like, they're the same age. They've crossed paths many times. So, it's closer to home type of thing, right? And then you have people like Rashford that's, been fighting for the kids out there in England as well. And to get this racist abuse from the same people that you're fighting for, do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's worthy of note that for every time, Google and Facebook get in trouble with the government, especially here in North America, the United States, and they talk about how to manage misinformation or racist abuse or radicalization on their platform, we all know it usually boils down to how all of this generates traffic on the platform. and traffic means they can point more ads at people, which means they can tell more advertisers to bring advertising to the platform. For them, it's more about how enticing it is to the bottom line, not necessarily about the mental health of the athletes or the well-being of the people who are being abused.
Exactly. And the worst part of it is that I just find myself, even now, I find myself having to explain reasons why they should not be racist against these people, like there's any justification for it. You see people, and you're like, I feel like black people always have to justify their existence, It's like, oh, Rashford is fighting for the people. Why are you being so racist against them? He's fighting to feed the kids. Bukayo is only a young man. He's done so much already. Why, do you know what I mean? You have to give all these justifiable reasons. Right. Meanwhile, there's really no reason to be given. Just don't be racist. It's as simple as that. We don't need to justify how well we're doing or what we're doing for this and that or how the colonial this and that, whatever. There's literally no reason to be given. It's just racism is bad, and that's what it is. Full stop.
Right. I shouldn't have to give you a reason as to why you shouldn't abuse me, right? It should just not exist. You just shouldn't.
Exactly. It happens. Did they go out there to lose on purpose? No. They want to win. They want to, lift up trophies. They want to get their name cemented in history.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure. It's just how it is. It's life.
Speaking of people who are trying to win, did you see the recent scoreline between the Tigers and the USA men's national team?
Oof, yeah, that one it's a funny one, isn't it? For the US was the best.
I know, right? And everything is all connected. We just talked about racism in sports and how these young men were abused online, on social media platforms. And then you have a Nigerian team which is comprised of, a lot of home-based and foreign talent. And, squaring up to the USA men's national team, supposedly the best team on the planet. And it's showing them how exactly to play basketball.
Yeah, but to be honest, I'm not even sure why people are too surprised. To be honest, a lot of African Americans can trace their lineage back to West Africa anyways. That's where the original gene pool starts from, number one. Number two is it's not like there's not been magnificent Nigerian players in the NBA. You have legend Hall of Famers, Hakeem the Dream, people like that have been there, from back in the day. Even now, right, you have people of Nigerian origin, right? They may hold different nationalities, maybe Greek nationalities or German nationalities or whatever nationalities that they may have, but they're still, second generation Nigerians, right? Their parents are Nigerians, were born in Nigeria, so I don't see the surprise. And a lot of them actually play in the NBA. They're good players, so what's the whole surprise? The US likes to think that, we're number one at this sport, but you need to understand that the US also is a melting pot, right? Of different cultures, different backgrounds, a huge gene pool there as well. So if anyone had the resources, I'm pretty sure if you go to places like South Sudan, for example, where the average height is 6 foot or something. If they had the resources and they had more training, more academies, things like that, the opportunities to play, I'm sure they'll be even probably better than the US, right? So it's those things that you have to take in consideration. I'm not surprised that they won at all. Right?
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective, and I mostly agree with that sentiment, right? Because I know a lot of Nigerians who end up going to do sports in North America, for example, usually almost always excel. Look at the UFC, for example, right? Literally all the belts are being held by Nigerians.
Exactly.
So it's eventually, the Nigerian team were humbled by Australia, but during this run, they also beat Argentina, which is one of the highest ranked teams in the league, in the world, I should say, as well. And then this kind of brought about some comments from, I think it was Stephen Smith. I don't know if he was on ESPN or whatever, wherever he works at. And he came online. I'm sure it was a segment from his TV show, but he was really, really condescending and borderline racist. I don't even know if it was borderline. I think it was evident. And it goes to show that this is all connected. You can even get racist abuse from people who look like you.
Do you know what? Yeah, Massa has done so well in messing up people's view of themselves. They've done so well in messing up the psyche of what how the black man thinks, especially in America. I'll tell you that now, of African Americans, through generations of slavery, indentured servitude, all of that. That's really messed up how they think of themselves, right? The epitome of being a successful African man, for example, in a lot of times has been connected to say, getting you that white woman, for example, right? Getting to the position of the massa, right? It looks like you've made it out there, to be honest. And then you come there where you see a lot of African Americans thinking of themselves as superior to other Africans, right? People that are actually from Africa, right? Which shouldn't be the case. Like, the white man's not looking at, both of you going, oh, yeah, this one's African American. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to treat you better than the African. Nah, you're just black. You're black you're both black. So for someone that understands how racism and words work, how it's affected people in the US, how it's affected African Americans in the US for centuries, right? To come back now and then start to spew the same rhetoric towards a group of people, he should know better.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's since come out to apologize, not just to the Nigerian team and the Nigerian, community, but also to the Asian community, because he also made some comments, in that space that he says he clearly regrets. And I've not really been a fan of his. I don't really know much about him. I don't watch any of his shows or whatever. But I always thought he was obnoxious. But after the apology, I decided to just rethink and retrace my steps. I don't even know enough about this guy to think he's obnoxious. I'm not saying I'm buying the apology. I'm just saying I'll just keep an open slate and just let it be. And I like how he gets called out on his nonsense. So if he ever finds himself in a position again where he starts spewing out things because he's not thinking before saying them, or it's just attacking a whole race of people or a community, I think it should give him pause now after this incident, that he should think twice about making those kind of comments.
Yeah, I mean, whether I know him or not, it's just simply unintelligent, in the climate that we're living in right now, number one. Number two, I just feel like people who go towards race as an abuse, right, who try to use racism as a way to abuse or attack a people or use their culture or whatever, is extremely unintelligent. It just shows your level of intelligence is so low. I'll be honest, it doesn't seem like a smart, because you go to the one thing that can hurt these people, right? You have no other, what's the word I'm looking for? There's nothing else you can say, because you don't have any way to make an intelligent argument, an intelligent conversation around this thing. So the first thing you can say is just attack. It's oh, that person is a black N-word, right? Or that person is a fat B-word. You just go for what you can see. There's no other intelligent conversation you can have around it. There's nothing else you can say. So you just pick the easiest thing. It's very lazy. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I think when he was making those comments initially, he was making fun about how difficult the names are to pronounce or something like that, and
that has anything to do with talent,
right? It really has nothing to do with sports. So clearly what you're saying in regards to this man is that ignorance is not an excuse.
It's not anymore.
It's never really been an excuse, right? But yeah, he's apologized. Let's see if he ever commits something crazy like this again. I'm sure he's going to be very careful now, walking on eggshells when it comes to issues like this. He better.
Well, I hope so. I hope he's genuinely sorry as well, not just saying that because of the public outcry.
I saw the apology video on Twitter, which makes me want to talk about how Twitter as a company decided to move fast and break things by jumping on the trend of stories like everybody else, and seeing that it kind of doesn't work for them, and they're going to pull the plug on it.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter is more of why would I want to go on Twitter posting my story? It just doesn't make sense. This is more of a verbal, writing down your story type
text
of vibe,
heavy.
right? Yeah, what's the point of the story? It's not really a visual. I don't know. It's been on my page when it was on my page, but I never watched anyone's stories. Because why?
You mean fleets?
Or whatever they call it, fleets. Yeah, call it a stupid different name, but yeah, it just doesn't work for Twitter. It's not. It's not the one.
I think the implementation too was kind of dodgy for them, because they also after that decided to introduce Spaces, which is the audio platform similar to Clubhouse. And to their credit, it's something they've been working on for a while. It's not like they just saw Clubhouse and decided to hop on the trend. Twitter has been experimenting with Spaces for a long time, and whenever Spaces happen, they show up pretty much at the top section of your feed, just the same way fleets do. And when you start adding things, it really, really gets in the way of the experience.
Exactly, yeah.
And thankfully with Spaces, you can listen continuously while still scrolling through your feed. You don't have to be stuck in the space, right? And one thing I admire Twitter for is how they let you post high-res photos. And I think this is an opportunity for them, because I am very certain that the decline of users on Instagram is something that we will see over time. Instagram's strength right now is in stories, I think, which is not even a product or an idea that they came up with. It's something they had to evolve by borrowing stealing from Snapchat, and then they hopped on Reels because they saw how good TikTok is doing, right? But people like photographers, storytellers who go on there to try and post things, kind of find it really hard to like share your work, because now people are more concerned about just checking the stories and or Reels than anything else. So I think Twitter can really take advantage of this, because they let you post like a lot of high-res photos. They don't mess with the compression of your JPEGs, however you post them. And that 2-minute 20-second cap they have on video, I think they should like just let it go, because I know verified accounts can go longer than that. And if you cross like a follower threshold, I think you can also post more than 2 minutes 20, which is kind of weird, because the idea for 2 minutes 20 came from like 140 characters for your tweet. So 2 minutes 20 is 140 seconds. So I think it was kind of clever when they started, but now even when they doubled the amount of characters you can tweet, they should do something about video, so people, content creators who don't want to go to IG to post video or don't want to keep posting their photos can just find a place on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because you can, like the way Twitter is organized, you can just keep scrolling. So if the video is too long for you, you can literally stop and keep moving, right? Unlike Instagram, where it's more instantaneous, like you're scrolling for pictures, you get to a video, you don't want to spend too much time on it, and just keep moving, right? So yeah, they should probably look into that. I don't think it will harm them at all if they can allow you to do more longer videos, and that might increase their usership, because people, are interested in that, right?
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about Instagram, because I think like it's worthy of like a segment in itself, in like another episode, because I think this is something that we really, really, really should get on. But I'm really looking forward to what Twitter will do in the future, because they clearly posted about it. They were taking off fleets, but don't worry, we're working on something, and I really hope they're gonna include room for photographers, filmmakers, and just like improve writing, and maybe keep working on the features they're adding to like the Twitter Blue, which is a subscription service, which lets you like basically edit tweets or whatever like right after we post it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what Twitter has to offer.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. Hopefully it comes through soon. Things do take time, but yeah, I'm just looking. I want to see how they all evolve, like Instagram, Twitter. What else is there? Snapchat,
TikTok.
TikTok. So they, like, because new things come out, like generations move away, and then there's sort of like a clash of generations as well, where like a younger generation doesn't really want to be on the same platform as the older generation. Like you don't want to be on the same platform with your parents, type of thing, right? Because you don't want that sort of crossover. So you find now that post millennials, like generation Gen Z or whatever, are now maybe focusing more on TikTok, because their parents are not really on that platform, right?
Right.
A lot of boomers and whatnot have gone on Instagram now, whereas before it was more of a millennial thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's all that crossover. So we always see like a share of user percentage, and then there's still Facebook. I don't know who really uses that anymore, but yeah.
I really don't use Facebook myself, but I know it still has.
Still there. People still have profiles there.
People have profiles on there.
Boomers, maybe some millennials. Yeah.
What I have found with Facebook is, besides all the craziness that happens on there's a lot of opportunities, but like I said, it could be another segment by itself. So we're going to put a pin in that and talk about video gaming next. I know we talked about Nintendo Switch in the past and like PS5, and then Valve out of nowhere decided to announce Steam Deck, which is basically a handheld PC. That's literally the best way to describe it.
Yeah, those are. I don't even know how the gaming market is segmented these days, because you've got your Xbox users, you've got your PlayStation users, you've got your PC users. But obviously, this opens a whole new sector up, because like you can use your PC for other things, right? Like PlayStations and Xboxes are mainly gaming consoles, right? I mean, I know you can watch Netflix or whatever, blah, 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 but you don't really use them for computing, right? You're not going to type a Microsoft Word document on your PlayStation or whatever. But in terms of computers, you can actually use them for other uses, right? You can work on them, you can do Excel, you can do Word, that sort of thing. So for hardcore gamers, this might be a way for them to consolidate as well, right?
Yeah.
Not need an extra console, have everything in one, right? And then have this portable version of your game that you can take along with you as well. So maybe.
I mean, I was looking at the specs and the design and the ergonomics, because I haven't felt it, but just looking at it, you can tell this guy's put some thought into this. And it just came out of nowhere, because Nintendo came out just over a week ago. They're talking about the Switch OLED, and people were just mad at Nintendo, talking about how, so you're going to give us a brighter screen and no bump in specs. And I thought, Nintendo will be foolish actually to put bump in specs, because this is a good market that they already dominate for the most part.
Which is just them.
It's
like
just
no one
them,
else is in.
right? Maximize, turn this cash cow into as many cash cows as possible. Keep selling the switches. You don't need to iterate too much. Just make the screen brighter, which is exactly what they did, right? And then Valve was like, hold my beer. And they come out with specs, this AMD chip inside, it's ridiculous. So it's something I'm excited to see how this is going to be a major shift in the gaming industry if it works, right?
Exactly.
Because we've seen Sony come in, dip their toes in a handheld game for a long time and just pull out, the PSP and all the other handheld devices that came out from Sony. And then Microsoft never really gave us anything handheld, right? But Nintendo stuck to their roots and from the Game Boy to the Game Boy Advance series, and now brought Switch, which is essentially a dockable gaming console. And Valve is taking it one step further by giving you a dockable handheld PC, because even though it runs an essential, it's called SteamOS, but basically they let you, if you want, install Windows on it, which is ridiculous. So you're just there, you plug it in via USB-C, and then you can install Windows. And when you dock it right now, the way it comes out of the box, even though it hasn't been released yet, I think pre-orders go live tomorrow. By tomorrow, I mean July the 17th of 2021. This device is going to be ready to use, right? Just plug a USB-C, mouse, keyboard, and you can start gaming with first-person shooters or whatever. It's just mind-boggling, mind-blowing.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm all for, new stuff. I'm all for the economics of competition, because this is obviously going to make Nintendo step up their game as well, right? They're going to have to do some research, see what they can do to improve the console. So all around, no matter how it goes, we're going to see, an improvement in gaming in general. Because once competition comes in, right, things start to get better. PlayStation was the major gaming console for the longest time before you seen Xbox come up, and that in general has bounced off each other to improve the console itself, right? So I hope to see that here too, right? They're not going to be sitting on their asses. They hopefully see this as big competition, and it does come forward as big competition, and then we see improvements on both systems, right?
Oh yeah, I think this announcement will at least get one of the executives at Nintendo to break a sweat, if nothing, because even though I'm sure they have their plans, their 5-year goal and 10-year goal regarding their next console or whatever, this is definitely gonna throw a wrench in the wheel and make them rethink some decisions they already made.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
And I think we should end this on a brighter note. Osita Eheme, a lot of people don't know him by that name. They just call him Popo from Aki and Popo. Decided to get into the NFT game recently. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about it, but with the MFT thing, I don't know. I'm still getting my head around that.
I think the thing about NFTs right now is if you can join the hype train quickly, get in, get out. Because what happens is essentially they're blockchain form of art, right? Non-fungible token. That's what the NFT stands for. And a lot of people have been selling their art through NFTs. And I've always found it really strange. I still debate about this with my guys, because I really don't know how there's any value in NFTs. But people are spending money to essentially Jack Dorsey, Twitter founder and CEO. He recently sold his first tweet as an NFT, as a non-fungible token, and he made a lot of money. However, when I go on his timeline, the feed is right there. The tweet is right there staring at me.
You can still copy, you can still screenshot it. You can
take a screenshot
unless
of it.
there's a way to stop that, that becomes some sort of copyright infringement when you're sharing this thing without license to.
Yeah.
Right? I really don't see.
So it's very interesting space, because even I think it was Sotheby's that actually ran a recent NFT auction with the artist Beeple. I've been following Beeple on Twitter for a couple of years now. It does this thing where it does every days, where he basically creates art through different medium every day on his feed, and he literally sold in, I'm talking about billions of dollars. I mean, he I should say millions, not billions. I think it was millions of dollars. It's worth looking up. If there's any correction, I'll put it in the show notes. But yeah, it is ridiculous how much money people are making from NFTs. And so, being the popular face of memes in the world, one of the most popular faces in memes, I think it's smart of him to decide, you know what, I'm going to join this hype train and sell some of my reactions, some of my clips as NFTs and see how much money I can make from this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's not losing anything. He's out there selling it, right?
Right.
There's people that are buying it that
Yeah, somebody was gonna pay for it.
Yeah. So well, I'm not too sure about buying. I mean, but selling, of course, you're making money. Like, buying, not too sure how that's gonna work. Need to be a few more rules set out. Maybe some legislation has to fall in place.
Yeah.
Before any of this becomes valuable. But maybe this would drive the legislation, right? Maybe this would drive it to that point where it needs to be to become like a valid business or trade or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah. So good luck, Popo, in selling those NFTs, and I really, really hope you cash out because your face has given a lot of us like laughter and joy, as well as Aki. As a matter of fact, they're like a very, very powerful team, duo on screen, and I really, really hope he makes a good amount of money out of this.
Yeah, for sure, it deserves it.
All right, as always, that was Backyard Conversations. Thank you guys for listening. Tune in wherever you get your podcast. You know where to find us: Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify. The list goes on.
Yeah, man. And we're now on Instagram as well. Backyard Conversations. You can follow us on there too.
Yep. Have a good one. And we are at Backyard Convos on Twitter. You can hit us with that follow button as well. Thank you, and have an awesome day, week, year.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.